What's up, everybody? This is Toru. Welcome back to ProducerHead. Today's loop circles around an idea that I think is really relevant and important for producers today, because there is this balance I think that needs to be struck between competency and collaboration, and being alone and being together. And I think it's a very delicate balance, and it's really easy for that to get out of balance. And I think in today's world, it's really easy to go the way of isolation in pursuit of competency and achievement. So without further ado, here is today's loop featuring Matt Wyatt from episode 56.
I think at a certain point, I assumed that if I got good enough, that opportunities in the music industry would open, and to some extent that's true, but it's not true in the way that I thought it was. And it wasn't like, oh, I'll get so good that I'll be famous. That wasn't really my MO, but more like, I think it's not to say talent doesn't matter, but talent is not, it's just a part of the pie, you know? And I think as much as that is, if we're talking about the studio side, it's relational. You know, can you communicate with people? How are you to be around? Competency totally matters, but it's not necessarily the driving force. Same with playing also. Like I used to feel like, oh, to get any kind of serious performing work, I need to be at a totally masterful level. And it's actually not the case. So yeah, I think you're right. Like, people don't know how hard musicians have to work, do work. And then I would add to that maybe as musicians ourselves, we don't even know that.
Yeah, that's an interesting point about it. Kind of really, is in line with some of the stuff we were saying earlier about what it is to be in the process with you, whether that's performing or working in a studio, writing a song together, right? There is a level of, and even to your point about reminding us that having an elite level of chops as an engineer, like it's cool if you can get to that point, but there is this balance of like having a talent or a skill that's practically applicable, and that nobody can succeed alone. And so that the type of person that you are cannot be understated in the role of your success.
Definitely. Yeah. And you just said something that speaks to like a lesson that took me a long time to accept and learn, is the importance of connecting with other people. And I had a mentor at a certain point who was all about connection. Like, I would go in and meet with him and talk with him and just be like, man, I can't, I'm horrible at self-promotion and I feel this way and that way and whatever. And his response would be, reach out to people, reach out and whatever, like reach out for help and support in that area, or reach out to other musicians for lunch or whatever it is, or whatever. Like, just instead of just staying in your own zone, which especially on the studio side, as you know, we can all kind of fall into it. This isolation is always close at hand in studio town, I think. And so reaching out and really trying to work against that is also a way to work against this idea that we all have to be masterful before we're valid. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't achieve your way out of loneliness. I just want to add on to this for a quick second, because I do think that in this world, it is easy to put aside collaboration because of how readily available the tools are to make music by yourself, and how maybe challenging it is to even just logistically schedule sessions with other people, and how it may even be intimidating to put yourself in a room with other people if it's something you don't have a lot of experience with. So I hope that this show has been something that's in general been encouraging to you and has provided really useful information, and that there's a sense of community to it. And at the same time, I have to acknowledge that it's not a replacement or a substitute for getting to know real people and being in the room with people. And it's not intended to be either. And so I just wanted to say that as a reminder, and to encourage you to put yourself out there and see what you can learn through collaboration with other people. To that end, I've also written a brief essay inspired by this loop about this idea of achievement and balancing it with collaboration, where you're going versus how you're getting there. And also, please consider this your personal invitation to subscribe to the podcast at producerhead.substack.com. When you do, I will send you a free sample pack that I made for the community, as well as access to The Pocket, which is an ongoing video library featuring the generosity and knowledge of past guests as they share how they make what they make so that we can steal ideas for our own production. Producerhead.substack.com. This has been Toru. We will catch you in the next episode. Thank you so much. Peace.